Welcome back, sports fans. Mike Fussell here with the latest interior action. It's been a very busy weekend for sports, and we'll have results from the Ice Dogs' first playoff game. But first, runners at the Beat Beethoven 5K were racing against an unusual opponent today, the Fairbanks Symphony Orchestra. The event started and finished outside of the Paddy Center. Competitors pushed themselves to complete the race before the orchestra finished Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. That meant racers needed to cross the finish line in about 30 minutes. Those who did successfully beat Beethoven received a voucher for free admission to a Fairbanks Symphony Orchestra concert. Kinsey Lane finished on top in the women's division with a time of 19 minutes and 58 seconds, while Max Donaldson placed first in the men's division, crossing the line at 17 minutes and 38 seconds. He was the overall race winner as well. Donaldson says the early race was a good way to transition back into running competitively out of the winter season.
Yeah, I didn't go out there with huge expectations. I just wanted to see how fast I could go. I've been skiing and doing some running, so yeah, it's kind of fun to be able to go out there and just race again.
And Arctic Man was supposed to kick off yesterday, but some rain and snow put a damper on the competition. The KTVF sports team went back today to see if officials could get the race off despite the poor conditions.
The start of the day, the weather conditions looked pleasant for the 30th annual Arctic Man. The Hoodoo Mountains were teeming with spectators and competitors ready for the race. The women's division started off the action. Take a look at this. This is the spot where skiers and snowboarders met up with snow machines to be pulled at faster speeds to the finish line. There were a couple falls, but nothing too serious. The women's ski clash finished up and several snowboarders got on the slopes, but the weather just didn't want to participate. Snow and rain moved through the Hoodoo Mountains, making for less than ideal racing conditions. Visibility was a big issue as the wind created some white-out conditions. Snow really started coming down on Friday, and it didn't let up today. Race officials decided to cancel the event as a whole. This is the first time the event's been canceled since 2001, and it's the first time it's ever been stopped after events were in progress. We'll have more coverage for you in our weekend recap with Joe Cook on Monday.
Today's Arctic Man update is brought to you by the Alaska Fun Center and the Big Eye Pub and Lounge.
And the Ice Dogs kicked off postseason play last night against the Minnesota Magicians at the Big Dipper. Both teams kept it close in the first period, trading one score each. Adam Wilcox got the shot off for Fairbanks. Then things got interesting in the second. The Magicians scored an early goal, but the Ice Dogs answered back. The score teetered the entire period, with Ethan Somoza finding the back of the net at the end of the second to put the Ice Dogs up 4-3. Lucas Loeb snuck one in between the pipes for the Magicians in the third. That would bring the game to a tie at the end of regular time, sending it into OT. In a tense overtime battle, Chandler Maudry slipped his way past defensemen to secure the game-winning goal. The Ice Dogs would hold off Minnesota and win it 5-4. That puts them up 1-0 in the 5-game postseason series.
I came into the zone. I was looking for the pass right away. I saw Hetty driving. I thought I'd make a move. It was kind of a desperation move, and he screened the goalie really well, and it went through. It was a good play. That's playoff hockey. You just kind of keep with it. It's a long game and it's a long series. So to get that goal in overtime was a huge relief for our team, and we're up 1-0. That's all that matters.
And some of the top UAF athletes had a chance to get out of their comfort zones earlier today. The university's teams traded places to play sports they don't normally compete in. The first matchup of the day was hockey. That's a mixture of different athletes battling it out there on the ice. The proceeds from the event went to the Make-A-Wish Foundation as well as several other organizations. The event was open to the public. It took place throughout the day at the Paddy Center and concluded with a dance and closing ceremony. And don't forget, tomorrow you can catch Joe Cook out of his element as well. He'll be taking on the Harlem Globetrotters as a guest player for the Washington Generals. That's at the Carlson Center. Swing by and see how Joe holds up against the team's world-famous antics. And that about brings us to the buzzer for sports tonight. Thanks for joining me this weekend. For more KTVF sports, log on to Twitter, YouTube, webcenter11.com, and download our mobile app. Katie Looper is up next with your full weather forecast. We'll see you next weekend.